Welcome to the Trump Tyranny Tracker. Olga and I were just talking about last night's really amazing session that we had on authoritarianism, which we were doing. What was supposed to be an 8-part seminar series is now turning into maybe a 10-part seminar series because it's
11.
so 11, maybe because it's so interesting. And we were talking about how great it is to have all the people show up and hear from them. I mean, it's great to be able to share Olga's experience and my experience, but even more exciting for us is to hear from everybody else. So if you haven't yet joined us in one of the Authoritarianism 101 sessions, you have 3 more, and it's a good time to register today. So you'll find the registration links all over Olga's Trump Tyranny Tracker or Unmasking Russia sites or at narrative.org. Hello to everybody. It's nice to see you. We're doing this a little bit early today, and how rare is that? Just because when am I ever early? But at 2:00, I'm going to be doing Lev Parnas, so I just wanted to do this earlier before that, so we got our daily fix of the Trump Tyranny Tracker, and then I'll be on with Lev to talk about Epstein at 2. Olga, let's begin at day 191. Can you believe it? 191, almost at 200 days. The Justice Department leads our news today. The Justice Department has filed a misconduct complaint against Judge James Boasberg, who blocked Trump's migrant deportation plan. DOJ claims Boasberg made improper remarks about Trump during a judicial conference, undermining the judiciary's integrity. The administration is seeking his removal from the case, a public reprimand, and possible impeachment. More action against judges. This is this theme now of the DOJ.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's unprecedented for the Department of Justice, to go after a judge. And we saw, I mean, if any judge ever needed to be reprimanded, it was Eileen Cannon. Even her own colleagues reprimanded her. And here you have the Department of Justice overstepping in the judicial branch. And they're doing it, I mean, because they're trying to remove the last check on Trump's power. And so far, even though when we get to the Supreme Court, they have disappointed us with several rulings, but the courts have been basically the ones who have slowed this down. Without the courts, it would have we would have already crossed quite a few dangerous lines.
But
So
that's what's making them a target right now. That's why Trump and the DOJ is so focused on judges and making sure that these U.S. attorneys are compliant and loyal to the administration. And we're just seeing this, and we have to be prepared for it. The courts can't hold the line forever; they will collapse at some point. And we maybe are beginning to see some of that resistance falling. Maybe it won't. Maybe they can hold the line forever. I shouldn't say. Maybe they can, but they certainly are going to be open to attack, and we're going to see these breaches into their independence happening along the way.
And just in parallel, you also have Trump's Trumplicans in the Congress, who also have been putting, forward legislation to impeach judges. I mean, luckily there's a handful of them. I don't foresee this going, forward, and it's part of God knows more asinine things they're doing, including renaming things after Trump, the airport, and this, and making everything Trump's America. But the point is that they're working together, and it just shows you that it's in Congress, in the White House, this attack on judges.
Let's move to the intelligence agencies, where April Falcon Doss, that's the name of the person, the National Security Agency's top lawyer and former Senate Intelligence Committee staffer, has been ousted after far-right activist Laura Loomer amplified attacks on her. This firing follows earlier Trump purges of NSA leadership, including the director and deputy director, over unfounded claims of disloyalty. Loomer strikes again, and this time it's a top lawyer at the NSA, but she really has it out for the intelligence support that Donald Trump has.
Intelligence support, and also the National Security Council. I mean, she purged the whole thing. And here you have an extremist, a psychopath, who is sitting and pushing, career officials who protect America out of their positions. And these are nonpartisan people. They've, served several administrations. Their job is to keep America safe. And you have this extremist, and I mean, if anyone who goes on Twitter Every time she has a new investigation, and then she puts out this investigation, assembled the MAGA crowd, and then these people get fired. And I frankly, at this point, really, someone needs to look into whether she's taking direction from Russia, because the only countries who benefit to see our national security apparatus collapse is Russia, China, Iran,
Absolutely.
and North Korea.
Yeah,
So, I mean, and
absolutely.
she had that very, very strategic attacks on top of, in between attacking Ukraine and calling Ukrainian Nazis.
I mean, these are very difficult people to get information about. These are people that are in the intelligence community that are not widely distributed publicly. You don't get to see a lot of information about them. The fact that she's got some insider knowledge, apparently, or is claiming to have some, about all these secret spies. Really, I mean, she's obviously getting information from a different source, not your typical. She's not Googling things or
No,
anything like that. There's
no.
another way she's getting this information. It's probably from our adversaries, and we have to acknowledge that maybe there's someone in here in the perimeter of the in the inner circle of Donald Trump that is making decisions about our spies based on foreign adversary advice or information. I mean, that's
Or
or
at
something
least
that,
names of who
yeah,
they would like to have
yeah.
removed.
And it's really interesting. This person was a former Senate Intelligence Committee member, which, they're now taking a lot of shots at that Intelligence Committee, the
Yep.
Volume 5 report that came out about, I don't know if she worked in it or not, but it is interesting that she's a former intelligence staffer for that committee. In the other big news today, Trump's prosecutor in LA is seeking to drop two high-profile criminal cases in LA. Acting U.S. Attorney Bill Esili, whose interim term was set to expire this week, moved to dismiss charges against Fatburger founder Andrew Widerhorn and to overturn the conviction of Deputy Trevor Kirk, who was found guilty of federal civil rights violations for assaulting and pepper spraying a woman outside a supermarket. What's happening in California there?
So Trump is installing his subservience into these positions, and here you have two, high-profile cases that they're basically dismissing. And I mean, one included the Fatburger guy. He was prosecuted for wire fraud, transfers, and whatnot. I mean, these are serious cases, and the fact that you see, this is what they're doing. They are protecting their allies. They're dismissing these cases. And at the same time, they are going after Democrats, as you see what happened in New Jersey, where Haba's interim expired and now she got put back in. And in her case, and it just showed you the effect they're having. There's a criminal case ongoing in New Jersey right now, separate completely from everything. And the lawyers basically filed a petition saying that her appointment is not illegal and therefore this case should be dismissed.
Hmm.
So you even have actual criminal cases that are not connected to this from this, insanity of what is happening, where lawyers are attempting for the criminals to attempting to take advantage of this lawlessness happening.
Yeah.
And, at the same time, what has Haba been, involved in? Making sure that the mayor of Newark got arrested, making sure Congresswoman McIvers got arrested and indicted. So, I mean, you see where this is heading.
It's
That
absolute weaponization of the
Sorry for
DOJ.
that on
No
fly.
worries. It happens. Yeah, but this is what's
At
happening.
least it didn't land on my head like with pins.
At least we're not having a debate. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We're seeing the weaponization of the DOJ. It's just this is what's happening, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. We've expected it. You've been calling it for it. It's here. It's just what we
And
are
just to
seeing.
add what I don't have as a news item, but just to add that the Emil Bove, the one who said
Yeah,
told the prosecutors, fuck the courts, don't listen to them,
yeah.
just got pushed through last night, late late at night
That turns out
into
to
a
be a good thing. Yeah.
lifetime appointment
It turns out to be a good
on
thing for
the
the Trump administration to have their officials say that they're going to avoid listening to the courts or just fuck the courts, as you point out. And here is, this Beauvais guy getting a lifetime
that was
appointment.
his
It's
quote. Not my quote, his
unbelievable.
quote.
I know, it's shocking. Another great, person in the Trump administration, of course, is the defense secretary, Pete Hegseth. who is such a great people they have, just the best, has privately discussed running for governor of Tennessee next year, according to sources familiar with the talks. Such a move would require Hegseth to resign from his role overseeing the U.S. military, creating a major leadership shakeup at the Pentagon during his first year in the position. Now, no one will be sad to see him go, but he's got a political career ahead of him.
I mean, I'm sorry, I should not be laughing,
Yeah.
but I don't ever recall a sitting defense secretary with the world on fire worrying about, you know, a hateful running for political
Yeah,
office.
it's very unusual.
Like, then maybe in the future after they finish their
Yeah.
term, but the fact that here he is, wrapped up in the signal gate chatter. We've seen the polygraph tests that he's been administrating to find quote unquote leakers, to the point that someone went to the White House and said enough of this, and the White House put a stop to it. You have our defense secretary creating the biggest chaos in the Pentagon. And at the same time, I mean, again, if we were in a bubble and this was happening and, domestically, it was just for us to see one thing, you have China very carefully watching every move. You have Iran, North Korea, Venezuela, Russia. You have every adversary watching every move of what is happening
Mhm.
because that is their job to study the Pentagon, to study any changes. And here you have this absolute shit show, chaos happening. And now, I mean, when I read the story, I was like, you're kidding me. No one's, again, sad to see him go, hasta la vista. But this is the sitting defense secretary who is like, I'm bored with this job. I think I'm going to run for governor.
Possibly the worst defense secretary ever. I mean, this man has run the Pentagon into a chaos, and his internal office is so chaotic. He can't hold on to staffers. Everyone's leaving, and he keeps polygraphing everybody because he doesn't trust anybody in his own inner circle. And here's a guy who's gonna. I mean, the only thing I can see that he'll want to run in Tennessee is because they make good whiskey, I think. But other than that, I don't know if there's a good reason for him to run as governor of that state. But he's going to try. It's unbelievable that he's thinking about politics and his political career. Maybe
I
he'll do it
don't
all in
know
Signal.
American history that well, besides, the surface things, but I really don't think in modern American history we have this where a sitting defense secretary, like, I think I'm going to launch a campaign in a few months and bye bye.
It's unbelievable. Finally, a CBS News investigation has revealed that surveillance footage cited by top federal officials, including former AG Bill Barr, as proving Jeffrey Epstein's 2019 jail suicide, lacks a clear view of his cell block entrance. Forensic experts identified inconsistencies between the video, FBI statements, and DOJ reports, including missing footage, potential edits, and unexplained access points that were not properly monitored. Now, this is not a surprise to any of us who've been watching Epstein, but that video is, according to CBS, not an accurate reflection.
No. And I remember actually, if we all travel back to 2019, when people on Twitter, sarcastically and maybe not so, at the time were saying that Bill Barr killed Epstein. I
Mm.
mean, it was like a very long running thing at the time, which I personally don't think he did kill him. I mean, I don't know what happened. Whatever
We do know
happened,
there was evidence that he was, and I saw the record of this, and I could never find it again. But there was evidence that Bill Barr visited Epstein
he
in
did.
the days before, and I
He
actually
did.
saw the sign-in record at the jail.
He
It
did.
wasn't under his name, I don't think, but it was him. And what was he doing there? What was the attorney general doing, talking to Jeffrey Epstein in a jailhouse? Yes, they may have known each other a long time, but that's a very unusual thing, days before his death. I mean, that's.
And now we're crossing over into, over the where it potentially could have been conspiracies, to the point that here we have a tape that was altered.
Yeah.
And this is according to CBS, and they wouldn't put this information lightly. They obviously spent time investigating this. So, what is it that they are covering up? Who is doing the cover up? And the fact that we are now, 6 years
Mm.
later, and now you have the deputy attorney general visiting Maxwell. We don't know what happened there. We do have Democrats who are demanding a record recording of those two sessions last week when he went there. But I mean, this really, like, if you want to see a cover up, this
Yeah,
is what a cover up looks like.
that's
Every
what they.
single which way you look, they are covering something up.
This is why they called Bill Barr the cover-up general. He's got a history of covering things up from Iran-Contra onwards. This is what his job has been whenever he's called in. But certainly with Epstein, I've been looking at my old shows from the Secret Life of Jeffrey Epstein. And, that week that he died, my reporting was, this is no ways this is a suicide. There's just no ways this could be explained as a suicide. And Hoffenberg at the time concurred with me completely. He was terrified for his own life because he thought that they were going to come after him. And who, you might ask, did they worried about? They were worried about that Trump was going to come after him, not the Democrats, not anybody else, not the Israelis, but Trump. So, who knows if that tells you anything.
Whatever it is, this is what happens when there's no transparency.
Mhm.
And if they had transparency, then we wouldn't be sitting here with this. If we had information from the evidence and files that they, collected,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be sitting here and guessing, did he die? Did he not die? I mean, now, even if you had a thought that crossed over your head that, potentially this could have been a suicide, I mean, not a suicide. The fact that now we know from CBS that the video was altered,
Mhm.
the fact that a few weeks ago Wired, said that what DOJ released, they eliminated first. It was 1, then 3 minutes they found that there's
Yeah.
missing footage. So, I mean, this really, if you want to clear things up, transparency is key. And just
Mm.
a quick thing on Bill Barr, besides Iran-Contra, just a little tidbit. Hansen, who was the spy who spied for KGB and GRU at the beginning, who got people killed, Russian Soviet defectors killed. His brother was the speechwriter for Bill Barr when he was Attorney General in 91, 92. So
And
just
Bill Barr is apparently, I'll,
how
I'll,
it
I'll add
all.
one more nugget to you because I think it's worthwhile that we match this kind of stuff. He was, briefly worked for the CIA, according to his
Yeah.
biography, under one George Bush,
Yep.
interestingly enough. So that tells you a lot right there. Well,
Yep.
that's all interesting. I love doing this bouncing off of information from you and me. It's really interesting to meld our knowledge on these things. That is the Trump Tyranny Tracker for today, day 191. Hope everyone at home has a great day and keep the fight up. I know people are complaining that the news is bad. Well, it's just the reality of what happens when we're in an autocratic, move here. And this is what's going to be the case. We're just providing you the day-by-day guideline of what's happening, as Olga does in the Trump Tyranny Tracker, where everyone should be subscribed to the TrumpTyrannyTracker.substack.com. Olga's daily count for absolutely every move the administration is doing in terms of authoritarian creep. I'll be back in just a few minutes, hopefully with Lev. And and yes, please subscribe to narrative.org, narrativ.org. Olga says I should have it written on
We are
the
going to have a plaque behind him so he doesn't have to spell it 5
but
times.
there's the greatest heist 1, 2, and 3 are already up. I'm working on number 4. It's a good one, and hopefully it'll be up later today. So this is all about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump's and the biggest crime ever committed in U.S. history. It's all detailed in this greatest heist, and number 4 is coming out later today. All right, Olga, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great
All right.
evening.
See you tomorrow. You
Bye,
too.
everybody.
Bye.